Frankie, if I could go to one thing you just said before, which is like more is more. Do you think machine learning, the ability as a machine to crack loads of data more than a human mind could process at once, is going to affect how we design events then? A human wouldn't be able to manage 3,000 drones in 3D space at one time, but a powerful computer can. Yeah. Is that the kind of thing that's going to take on more and more as we look for large-scale events?
I think our audience are going to become, out of COVID, I think our audience are going to be more savvy. I think our audience are going to be a bit more savvy to sustainability, why they're going, how many people are there, who they're trying to connect to. I think if you have, MX, like, you can have this amazing thing that happens, and so therefore, I'm a big believer in, if you're going 100 miles an hour, 110 doesn't feel any different, but yet 0 to 5, massive. And so therefore, I feel like you grab people's attention by the smaller amounts and the more powerful impact that you're going to have. If you just give them everything, they've become quite numb, and we were very numb just before we went into COVID. We know every event that we went to, it was just so much stuff that you actually become completely numb to your senses. You weren't connecting. If you did more care and attention to a certain thing and made that really engaging, the best stories that are told, if you make your customer the hero of your story rather than your own brand and your own experience, make them the hero, they're going to connect to your experience and your brand far better than if you are producing or displaying the fact that you're the hero, as it were.
Okay. I think that's interesting. I'll come back to you, Rob, on that, because that leads us very firmly towards what we've spoken about previously, about the purpose, the soul of an event, so to speak.
We've got to take everything apart and turn it into an experience. Then it will connect with people and it will engage.
Yeah, make them feel like they've had a part within that event, like valued. If without me, that piece of book wouldn't have been read. Like,
which goes back to Chris's TikTok and so forth, in that if it's user-generated, then you own part of it. If you own part of it, you're invested in it. If you're invested in it, it's binge-worthy and you engage.
Okay. Also, it won't have irony or personality, and that's one of the things, we can have as much MX as we like, but actually, the more you actually understand something and actually understand sort of that emotional object relationship to it, and irony and personality, MX. Yeah.
Most of the AI that's around at the moment is narrow AI. There's not much general yet. If lots and lots of narrow AI streams join together, there may be a bit more general, but at the moment, it's a purpose. It's really good at GPS, it's really good at travel, it's really good at telling you what to watch, it's really good at helping you shop. But it won't make decisions for you, and it's not a sentient thing.
You spoke about looking to win on an event. So sometimes a customer CX experience will get that validation from the thought of they've won on an event. How does that get looked at when we look to build an event, to give a CX of that they've got one?
Competitive of me, doesn't it?
Yes.
How do we win? I think, going back to your point, I think it's very much to do with understanding our connection, making sure we're not numbing someone out. I don't think they would have probably noticed the thickness of the carpet if there was like bright lights and champagne being, I was about to say thrown at them, but it depends on what type of event you're at. But
I want to go to your event.
Yeah, I win at my event. I think it's allowing people to become immersed in one of their senses. The senses is the thing that connects us to the memory of your event, is why you're there. And I think it's very much like getting, like you say, the one thing perfect of why they're there, the purpose of what you are wanting that client to be there for, or that audience member, and really engage them. As soon as they feel like they've had an input within that event, they feel like they've been valued, they feel like they've been seen at the event, and then they will connect far deeper to it, rather than just sort of feeling like they're just one in a million that is just sort of like coming in and out and around.
If I come to you on this, the psychology of that event design, how does that play in those new fields of how you get an audience to leave the event humming the last tune?
Humming the last tune. I think
it's more champagne coming.
More champagne.
More champagne.
Give more champagne.
And really good lights.
Yeah, loads of lights, champagne, jobs are good in. I think it's getting that, like you say, that real balance between hardware, software, and being at an event. Hardware is very cold and alien, but actually, if it's done in like the way of like steps, and you're seeing your input, your reaction, your reflection in hardware and software, then suddenly you become far more engaged with that. And if technology can help that and make them feel engaged rather than disengaged, because that's the fear, like I think with Google Glass, it was a bit of a disengage because it was just too far ahead. It was a bit like, oh, well, this is cool, but we don't really have any object relationship to it because it's too many steps. I think to make technology connecting, you need to make the user understand why it's happening and what that connection is. Don't make them feel stupid. As soon as you make someone feel stupid, they're going to feel disconnected from it.
I guess it's kind of the data that you take out of an event.
Yeah.
It's and how you manage that coalescence of data will lead you down the road of how you define the next one. And I suppose going back to the machine learning elements it's going to be unavoidable for us to take on the ability to utilize machine learning, social networks, etc., in order to design the next series of events that's going to work to enable us to get the ROI out.
Yeah, I think people are very savvy to not being used, everything of me. So the fact that you're having this connection to it, they also don't want to feel cheated to be like, hang on, have I just been some sort of like subject to you and you're just now going to learn from me, and then the next event you've now learned this and this and this. Actually, you'll almost freak people out if it's almost too like, oh, you like pink champagne. Let's go back to oh, you like this. Oh, actually, you prefer this type of seat. And you're like, oh, this actually is creeping me out because you have like taken all this data and taken all of this and you're now produced, So we have to be careful to treat people to feel connected and valued, but not make them feel sort of used and abused and sort of, yeah.
Yeah, they tend to go in tribes. You visit an experience in a tribe with a group of people, and we do so much in society through little tribes and so forth. And so if you allow people to express themselves and control the content, as Harriet said, control the content within their tribe, they do things together. And that user-generated content makes the event amazing, and it builds the experience. So the more we give them, the more they will do, and the more they will love us for letting them do that.
Do you think that's going to make us more culturally insular because we'll have our own echo chamber of the virtual events we subscribe to? We don't go out and mingle with people?
That we've now made the events internet. There's more than ever, and there's no excuse for doing absolutely everything because we can do everything. A company used to employ the best person X within 30 miles. Now they can simply employ the best person. And you used to go to an event because it was within your geographic jurisdiction. Now you can go anywhere, any time of the night, in any place. So I think that it's just got so much bigger, and I don't think it'll ever get smaller again.
What a way to finish.
Exactly. I think that's very well done, Frankie. That's taken us right to our hour.